MYePEAK here again. Today we're going to talk about the anti-inflammatory foods again. This time we're going to give you 4 tips to beat chronic inflammation.
So chronic inflammation, what is inflammation?
Good question. Yeah. Well, what is the difference, right? So we talked about that in a couple other videos.
Some phenomenal videos.
Yes, if you want to check those out, they are well worth the watch, actually, because you start understanding what inflammation would be. Yeah. And so they're going to be in this little card right above Matt's head, right up in there.
So the reality is inflammation is a good thing. It's your body's attempt to heal from what it feels is a perceived attack. But the problem is there you have what's called acute short-term and chronic long-term inflammation. Acute is good. Acute is you get a sliver and it fixes it. Long-term is when we start getting to chronic disease patterns.
Exactly.
That's chronic inflammation.
Yep, and so a lot of times with acute can be massive. Like, so you can have, like, you know, we work on them all the time, acute low back pain causes some major issues. In that realm, though, you would want to, that is exactly what you would want your body to do. So you try to work with that throughout that. Once it's over, though, the inflammation process should chill out, right? Yeah. So it should be gone and doing its thing and not having to work really hard. Yeah. That's where chronic becomes a problem.
Well, and in these 4 tips, we're not trying to say, hey, you do this and the acute problem goes away.
Yeah.
It can help acute problems, but
sure.
This is really for the chronic is what we're talking about. And once again, we've already had the chronic, and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre already put in there, so we don't need to do that again.
I know.
But we'll get right into it, okay?
Yes.
So we talk about the 4 tips, and the 4 tips, we actually have some great videos on the first 2 we're going to share. And the first one is eat less inflammatory foods.
Right, exactly. So, and hopefully you've downloaded the PDF we have available for you. That's the food list that you can pick from. I'd love to see if somebody has downloaded that from previous ones. What's your favorite food on the inflammatory list that you're going to have trouble with? Because all of us have a food on there that you're like, oh no.
I already told you if you watch the inflammatory video. Actually, if you watch the inflammatory video, you know the answer of my favorite one on that list was. Put that in the comments too.
That'd be a good quiz.
There's a little fun thing. My wife would have to glance at the list for about 2 seconds and she would be able to answer that question.
Exactly.
So, it comes down to is there are foods that increase the inflammatory response in the body. So we have that sheet. It literally says try to limit eating these foods. Not eliminate, but limit. And if you can limit eating those inflammatory foods, that is the first tip.
Exactly.
Is just limit those foods. Click on the video we got here as well. That takes you right to that more thorough.
One of those words.
Thoroughistis.
Yes. That's right.
That. So tip number 2, of course, is the opposite coin there. The opposite side of the coin.
Start eating some non-inflammatory stuff. So when you think of the realm of sugar, we always, I'll go there, because a lot of those inflammatory ones, you're going to see, man, those are the ones that taste good, delicious, because they got this sugar stuff, but it's not really sugar. Not necessarily. It's like, it's not natural sugar.
It's supersonic sugar.
Yeah, it's supersonic sugar. And so one of the problems with that, if it's not totally sugar and it has a little bit of molecule left, when your body burns the sugar away, right, there's still something left. That's what your immune system doesn't like, right? So it has this little piece. So when we talk about non-inflammatory foods, some of them have some taste to them that are pretty good.
Of course.
But what happens is that natural sugar is absorbed and gone. There's no like leftover pieces or anything for your immune system to freak out about. So that's where you can get away with a little bit more.
And you talk about inflammation is your body's response to a perceived attack.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying is these certain foods are not going to excite your body that it's an inflamed response.
Right.
And so it actually decreases the inflammatory response. Yeah. Which is real simple. Once again, it's on the other side of that sheet. It says eat as much of these as you like. And if you click the video, you will also see, hey, this is the great video, much more explanation on how to actually, what those non-inflammatory foods are and how they help. So
let me give you a trick too. On 1 and 2, because they seem simplistic, but nothing is in life most of the time. But when you're starting to replace the sugary ones of the inflammatory foods, use the more high, tasty, sugary, non-inflammatory foods to do that. So that way you're not missing it because our brains will start missing something. So maybe start there as you start your journey on this stuff. So
and that's great. We talk about some tips and ideas in those other videos too to help kind of guide you through. So another plug to say, hey, watch those videos because they are highly inflammatory, and frankly, they're some of our more popular videos as well.
Yeah.
So if other people like them, you'll like them too.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So tip number 3.
Yeah, tip number 3. I like this one.
This is actually the Madagascar one.
The Madagascar one.
Yes.
Why would it be that?
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Yeah, I like to move it.
So tip number 3 is get moving.
Yes.
For that horrible tangent to get moving.
Yes.
To get moving.
Yeah, and please make it a direct and actual movement pattern instead of saying, I move doing
12-ounce
laundry.
curls don't count.
Right. Yeah, or you say, I already move around the house. Well, that's fantastic. All of us do that. You have to have intentional movement when you're talking this. And so when you're doing it, it's a dedicated time, those kind of things. If you're going to start doing these things to make you feel better, make it an intention.
Yeah.
Walking is one of my favorites.
Well, yeah, and walking is the number one thing. Is if you're walking 30, 45 minutes, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Our body's kind of like an engine in a sense, is that we want to oil the joints, we want to spray WD-40 in there to lubricate things, and we have this stuff called synovial fluid.
Right.
And the more we move, the more the synovial fluid starts to get to those areas to keep things lubricated, keep things moving. And walking's the easiest thing to do. It's not the only thing. What the greatest thing we see in our older patient population is they start to lose flexibility.
They do, and that's where you start losing all that WD-40 in between a little bit. You want to hear a good relationship one on this one? This is kind of interesting. So, with walking,
relationship, motion, movement. What are you getting at here?
Oh, come on!
This is PG. Remember?
Hand out of the gutter.
Actually, this is
head out of the gutter.
We did Madagascar.
Yeah, we did Madagascar. It's a little bit better than the other ones. No, but a lot of times. I was at a conference, and this one guy was talking about walking. So, in a husband-wife relationship, the wife wants to talk and communicate and engage that way. Husband,
we hate to talk.
Well, yeah, exactly. A husband is more supposedly apt to. Of course, my wife would probably differ on this, but more apt to do the physical movement portion. So, if you walk and talk, it can be a huge thing because your husband's actually listening to you as you're talking. Mm-hmm. What he was saying is basically, husband's working all day, physical all day, and then he sits down. Well, then his brain kind of shuts off, and so then that's when the wife has her opportunity to talk, but he's engaged, and they're saying no because he's not moving, right? And he's done that all day. So just a good thought process and just relationship. Anyway,
that's good. But so walking is a great thing. We talk about flexibility, which of course comes with stretching. That doesn't mean you have to go start doing yoga. Not that we're anti-yoga, but
no, you don't have to go that way.
Any kind of stretch. I mean, this is a stretch. This is a stretch, and if you do it every single day, it's a really good stretch. That was a stretch.
That was a stretch.
But if you do it on a consistent basis, you get a consistent result. Another great program we actually have is what's called Rise and Spine, and it is a fantastic thing for just to kind of wake the body up, get it moving, get it shaking, get it ready to have a good day. So
and it comes with a free poster.
Well.
It comes with a free poster.
You just sold me.
That's right.
I want a poster.
And neither of us are in it. So that will help you. That'll probably help the resale value.
Yes. There's a beautiful woman in it.
That's right.
That's what it is. All right. Tip number 4.
4.
These are 4 fingers. Is relax.
Yeah.
Yes, Frankie says relax is what this one is.
This one is pretty critical, I think.
It's essential. There's an old song by Randy Stonehill, and it says, I'm in a hurry to get things done. I rush and rush until life's no fun. All you really got to do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and I don't know why. There's a little twang to that too.
It's ridiculous.
It's a country song from the 80s, but there's a little twang to it.
He knows 80s, 90s movies, and then he pulls out a country song.
Well, I had a grandpa who loved Alabama.
Oh yeah,
And
that's true.
but the song says a wonderful message. Is we're just so hustle and bustle, and we just need to intentionally slow down. Now, some people will say a meditation type thing. Some people will say, read a book. Some people will obviously do something religious related, like read the Bible or another religious experience, whatever that is for them. There's a lot of different options out there, but it's just intentionally slowing down because, and we're just as guilty as the next person, but you're always going to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And when you start throwing kids in there with activities, all you're doing is going to the next thing. So intentionally slowing down will actually control what's called your parasympathetic nervous system, which will get your body to relax.
Exactly.
And knock down inflammation.
I love that. And even if you start with a minute, it doesn't matter. So that's the thing. Most people get hung up on time. Yeah. And especially when you're talking about this stuff, there might be a little time commitment, and especially in the relaxed one of my favorite things I've ever done, and to this day, is when I feel like that. We get pretty busy in the office and all that stuff. When I feel that start happening, because my brain will start trying to catch up all the time, I actually take that big giant, and you can see those videos too. We have those about breathing.
The breathing one?
So
the breathing one's great for relaxation.
A big deep breath in and then go out. Well, that was 10 seconds, but it actually is a form of relaxation that you could start the habit, right?
It forces you to slow down.
Exactly.
So our 4 things: limit inflammatory foods, eat as much non-inflammatory foods as you can, get your booty moving, relax.
Yeah.
Those are our 4 things. Those are our 4 things that are gonna help with that chronic inflammation and just calm the body down and put you in a healthy state, that holistic health state that we talk about nearly every single time. We just didn't have to say it by name today, but that's what we're talking about once again, holistic health.
It's all about that. And the biggest thing is make this intentional. Yeah. Everybody will tell you this stuff, but it's time to do that. We would like to challenge you to comment below when you start. So watch this video, and I want to know, how'd your first week go, right? So that would be awesome.